Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments, as well as yours in the chat. So bring it, ask your questions, make your statements. We will talk about it. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in here on this first day. Can you believe it? The first day of March. Today is March 1st. Yesterday was leap year, February 29th, and today is March 1st. So welcome to March. We're right around the corner to spring. So hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful week. We're going to get right into the topics of the show, and please feel free to comment, say what you have to say, and we will definitely talk about it. Always great to have each and every one of you watching as well as being in the show. Really do appreciate it. All right, guys, let's kick it off with the very first topic. Here it is. Last Friday, the NFL announced that the salary cap for the 2024 season will increase by 13.6% per team. Well, actually, not for, per team. 13.6% per team from what they had this past season. Okay? That makes it a record $255.4 million per team. Do you know what that equates to, guys? I figured this out right before coming on the air. And at $255.4 million per team times 32 teams in the NFL, that is a whopping $7,168 million for the entire league. They're allotted to spend. That is insane. $7 billion. Now go back to what Walton Penner ownership group, what they paid to buy the Denver Broncos. It was basically half of what the entire league is giving these teams the availability to sign players at $255.4 million times 32, because 32 teams, you're looking at $7,168 million. That's insane. Let me continue. Check this out. Let me continue. This past season, the cap was at $224.8 million. The main reason for the record jump is the league has now paid back all player benefits that were deferred in the pandemic year of 2020. This was done to keep the league running during the COVID-19. So you see it, you understand, guys? So what that breaks down to is this. The league said either one of two things has to happen. Either A, because of COVID and we have no fans, we have no revenue, we can't operate. We cannot have football games, whatever. We can't do it. It's just impossible. We don't have the funds. But what they did was they deferred the all player benefits. So I'm assuming that may mean medical, hopefully not. And maybe, I don't know what the benefits are or were. Doesn't matter. What does matter is that the league did the correct thing. And because they deferred that money that would be paid to the players, they then used that to keep the league going through the pandemic year of 2020 and possibly and even part of 2021. So that was a very brilliant move. But because they paid it all back and the league gets tremendous amount of money, and we'll get into that here shortly, the league makes tremendous amount of money because of ticket sale. I mean, everything. Just put everything into the equation. They make bank. And for them to increase it by 13.6%, that's fantastic. What does that mean for the Broncos when it comes to the Russell Wilson guaranteed money? Nothing, because this is for 2024. The Russell Wilson situation is 2023 and 2022. So all of that is already in the contract prior to this salary, because I've had people ask me, does this mean that Denver is not over the cap? No, it does not mean that. This is only going forward, starting 2024 season. Has nothing to do with 2021 or 2022. Nothing. Broncos are on the hook for that. Broncos are absolutely on the hook for that. And people can point fingers at George Payton or whatever, but it was the ownership group that signed off on it too. Now I'm not going to go down that road again. We've gone down that path way too many times. We all know about it. It's a done deal. Nothing can be done about it. But I thought that was fantastic that the cap is now raised, because that means going forward, the Broncos free agents, now they may be able to have funds where they can keep our key players. Okay. We have some key players that are free agents. We want to be able to keep those guys. Okay. And with this salary cap increase, that's a great, great possibility. Speaking of free agents, although Patrick Surtain's not a free agent, but he does have a 5th-year option coming up. Let's get into that. Patrick Surtain's 5th-year option for the 2025 season, not 24, 2025 season, will be $19.802 million that year. The Broncos owners and George Payton will pick up that 5th year. That is absolutely a no-brainer. Of course it is a no-brainer. You got the best corner in the league, and I've hashed this out since I'm Bronco blue in the face. Broncos have the best corner in the entire league in Patrick Surtain II. No doubt about it. Is there ever a doubt that the Broncos would not pick up Patrick Surtain's 5th-year option? That would be absolutely foolish beyond foolish. Foolish beyond foolish, beyond stupid, beyond ignorant, beyond asinine. Yes, that's a word. It would be catastrophic to the Broncos if that were to happen. And I firmly believe that Sean Payton, George Payton, and Greg Penner, ownership group, and all that firmly believe that would be a mistake. And that's why they're going to pick up his 5th-year option. I mean, why else would you not? Why else would you not? It's just stupid if you don't pick it up. All right. Earlier, right before that, I was talking about the salary cap increase. Okay. Well, this is an option for the Denver Broncos to get under the cap for 2024 season, even though all of the cap stuff that they're dealing with is from 2023. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. If not, go back to how I explained the salary increase, and then you possibly you'll understand. All right, here it is. Courtland Sutton had a great season with some spectacular touchdown catches. Denver is looking into restructuring Courtland Sutton's contract. Why? Because they're trying to get under that $24 million override that they're in. They're in salary cap Hades. So they need to get underneath that. So let me continue. Sutton is set to make $13 million in 2024. Mike Kliss of KUSA TV noted Denver could convert part of Sutton's salary into a signing bonus for cap relief. Yeah, if you take let's say a person, like you said, person's owed $13 million. So Courtland Sutton's owed $13 million. So let's say that they say, okay, a signing bonus of $13 million will be $8 million. Okay. So that means that when he signs, he gets that $8 million. That doesn't go against the salary cap, because that's a salary bonus or signing bonus. So that doesn't go against the cap. So if he has 13 and he has an $8 million signing bonus, then the other 5 is in the contract, and that is what is going to go against the salary cap. So there's a lot of ways to work around this whole situation. A lot of ways. I'm not a mathematician professor. I'm not an economic major or anything like that. But it does make sense that if there are ways or loopholes or structures that you can do to get under that cap with any individual player or players or whatever the situation may be, why not do it? Why not do it? Basically, what they're doing is they're taking the money they have for 2024. They're above the cap. So they say, okay, well, we'll take this money and we'll put it over here. So that way, it's kind of like, okay, let's simplify this. Let's say you got a dozen eggs, okay? Excuse me, you got a dozen eggs. And you're only supposed to have 8 eggs, okay? And you got 12. So now you got to get rid of 4. Well, how do you get rid of 4? Well, you're above the so-called salary cap. So you take those 4 and you go, okay, we're going to give you a signing bonus. And here's what we do. So we take those 4 and we put them over here. And now they're not part of the 8, right? They're not part of the 12 anymore. There's only 8 left. And that's where they need to be. So this 4 over here ends up going to the next year. Or, like I said, signing bonus, whatever it is, however they move those pieces around, that's basically what they're talking about. That's basically what they're talking about. You got to move this to this pile, to that pile, to this. It's like a chess game. It's like a freaking chess game. Above my salary pay, that's for dang sure. All right. The topic of the show is Russell Wilson wants 2 more in Denver. Look below my name where it says Bronco Bill. It says Wilson wants 2 Super Bowl championships with Denver. Is he going to get that opportunity? Doesn't look like it. Could be. Let me bring you this topic. This is the main topic of the show. Here we go. Russell Wilson was a guest on former Broncos podcast show called Brandon Marshall, I Am Athlete. During the interview, Wilson said, and I quote, "Whether in Denver or somewhere else, I hope it's in Denver. I hope I get to finish there. I'm committed to Denver. I wanted to be there. I still want to be there," end quote. Okay? He's making a statement he wants to be there. But do the Broncos want him to be there? Let me continue. He continued, meaning Russell Wilson continued, and I quote, "For me, it's all about winning. Over the next 2 years, I want to win 2 Super Bowls in Denver." Okay, that's commendable. That's commendable. I appreciate that. I continue, and I'm still quoting Russell Wilson. "I want to feel the chill of that trophy again. I love this city and everything else, but here it comes. But you also want to be in a place that wants you as well." Wow. And I'm still quoting. I'm not this part, but holy smokes. So he comes out and says he wants to be in Denver. He wants to win 2 Super Bowls in Denver. And obviously, if he's only got 4 more years, I believe, or 3, he's got to win half of those or 2/3 of them. Is he going to be in Denver to do it? I don't know. Haven't heard anything. It's still hush, hush. It's still quiet. It's still silent at Dove Valley. Nothing has been said. I think they're looking for a trade partner. That's a whole nother story. Let me continue. Russell continues, and I'm still quoting, "The thing I want to do is win. That's all I care about," end quote. Let's go back to what he said a little bit earlier, okay? He said, and I'm quoting Russell Wilson, "I love this city and everything else, but you also want to be in a place that wants you as well," end quote. Wow. Did Russell Wilson just paint that final picture, the exclamation point at the end of the sentence? Did he just turn off the lights and shut the door in his last exit out of Dove Valley? All of these things crossed my mind. He says he wants to bring 2 Super Bowls to Denver. Now, nobody does it on their own. Sure, you have supporting cast like crazy. That's why I call it a team. This isn't bowling. Well, bowling's a team, but you know what I'm saying. This isn't tennis, one-on-one. This isn't golf. That's the best explanation. This isn't golf where it's you against the course. This is football where you have 10 other guys beside yourself on offense. And you got 11 guys on defense. And you got special teams. This is a team sport. Russell Wilson may want to win 2 Super Bowls in Denver. My question is, will he get that chance? I don't think so. I think the writing's on the wall, especially when he ended that interview by saying, but you, I don't want to misquote him, so I'm going to say it again. He says, and I'm quoting, but you also want to be in a place that wants you as well, end quote. That's the point. Denver right now, in my opinion, doesn't want Russell Wilson. Why? Because Sean Payton doesn't want to change the way he's coached for all of these years. And Russell Wilson can't, in my opinion, change. Why can't Russell Wilson change? Because that's not a style. I mean, you look at any athlete. What they do best is what they do best. They can't change what they do best because then it won't be best. It'll be subpar. It'll be average. It might be above average, but it ain't going to be best. What a person does best, you can't change, or you don't want to change. Why would you change it? If that's what they do best, why would you change it? Well, on the flip side, you've got Sean Payton. What does Sean Payton do best? What he did with Drew Brees. Was he able to do that with Russell Wilson? Not last year, but it was their first year. First year together. You have to give a little. You have to give and take. That doesn't happen. That does not happen with Sean Payton. And it didn't happen last year. Sean Payton's a very alpha A personality. He's a very dominant personality. We saw that in the sideline when he was getting Russell Wilson's face. And that's not good, but that's how he is. Do I condone it? No, not really. I think it's bad look on the team. Really bad look on the coaching staff. Absolutely. So, but my point is this. Is Russell Wilson going to be on the Broncos in a couple weeks? I don't know. I'll get to that a little bit later in the show. All right. Speaking of Russell Wilson, if he's not on the Broncos, Steelers asking price for Russell Wilson. What do the Broncos want? Well, the Broncos want a trade. That's for sure. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in need of a proven quarterback, and most NFL people believe that quarterback could be Russell Wilson. The Steelers won't have to give up anything if they wait for Wilson to be cut. That's the key. The Broncos are trying to trade Russell Wilson. Why? They're trying to recoup some money back or a trade draft pick. Not trade, a draft pick or possibly a trade, but most likely a draft pick. And so if that's the case, then Denver may be off the hook for some of that money because now if you trade Russell Wilson, he's going to want more money, and then Denver will pay less. So in other words, if Denver owes Russell Wilson, I think it's 37 million, something like that, this upcoming year. And if, let's say, the Steelers and the Broncos make a trade and the Steelers and Wilson come to an agreement, and let's say, I don't know, I'd throw an even number out there, probably nowhere near, but let's just say it was $10 million a year, $10 million for 1 year. Okay. Now you take that 37 million and now that 10 million comes off. So now Denver only owes him 27 million. That's why they want a trade. Because if Denver releases him and cuts him, they're on the hook for the entire guaranteed money. And Russell Wilson being cut can go anywhere he wants, and he can even play for the minimum salary, whatever that is, because he's still going to be guaranteed the money from the Broncos of 37 million. So why would Pittsburgh be stupid enough to trade with Denver and then have Denver shrink some of that guaranteed money to Wilson because he's now being paid a portion of that by the Steelers? That would be astronomically stupid. That's why it hasn't happened yet, because everybody knows that the Broncos are either going to keep Wilson and pay him the 37 million, which they owe him anyways, or cut him and still have to pay the 37 million. It doesn't make any sense. That's why I've said don't freaking cut him. Keep him on the team. Draft a quarterback if that's what you're in love with. Do whatever you need to do. But if you cut him and he goes to a Steeler team, and let's say he signs for $5 million, okay, Denver is off the hook for $5 million out of that 37. Now it's down to 32. They're still paying him, and he could come back and bite him in the butt. I think we play the Steelers this year. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the schedule. I would not be surprised if a situation arose where Russell Wilson was on another team and comes back and plays the Broncos and beats us. That would not surprise me one bit. One bit. Absolutely would not. And that's what I don't want. So my thought has always been this. If you're going to pay the guy anyways, why are you letting him walk? And people say, well, Russell Wilson's all washed up and he can't work with Sean Payton and blah. Hey, hello? Didn't the Broncos go on a 5-game win streak? Oh, yeah. With Russell Wilson? Yes, they did. With Sean Payton, the head coach? Yes, they did. Explain that to me. And people have said to me many times, oh, well, that's because they beat Green Bay. Green Bay's nobody. That was one game. There was 4 others that the Broncos beat. 4 other games the Broncos beat that nobody gave the Broncos a chance to win. Okay? Throw out the Green Bay Packers game if you want. Although the Packers did go to the playoffs and they dang near beat the 49ers. So you can't say that the Packers were a wash because they weren't. They weren't taken lightly, and they weren't considered a nobody. Then they beat the Chiefs. Then they beat the Vikings. Then they beat Cleveland. And then they beat Buffalo. Okay? Let me go back to that, guys. I know I'm rehashing last year, but it's a point I'm trying to freaking make. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying, guys. This is a point I'm trying to make. If the Broncos cut Russell Wilson, on what grounds? They don't want to pay him the $37 million injury thing or $35 million or whatever it is injury thing. So freaking what? You're going to cut off your nose to spite your face? Why? Because you don't want to pay him that? But if he goes to another team and comes back to bite the Broncos in the butt, remember what I said. Russell Wilson was the quarterback that led the Broncos on that 5-game win streak. Okay, guys, go ahead and say it. Say it in the chat all you freaking want. Say it, say it, say it. It was the defense that did it. Yes, the defense has to sometimes pick up the offense. Excuse me, guys. I'm getting wound up. I hit the microphone. Yes, the defense does sometimes have to bail out the offense, but the offense sometimes also has to bail out the defense. And yes, the defense got turnovers and they put the Broncos in key situations to get points. You still have to score those points, which they did with Russell Wilson at quarterback. Am I emphasizing enough that I want Russell Wilson back? Not necessarily, but I'm looking at it as a financial situation as well as a best fit situation. What I mean by best fit is this. Russell Wilson knows Sean Payton now. He knows the way Sean Payton wants to operate. He knows the offense. He knows the system. Give him another freaking year. Okay? Draft a quarterback, like I said. If you're in love with one, do it. I have no problem with that. But don't get rid of Russell Wilson, because if you do, you're going to leave the Broncos in Jared Stidham's hands. Seriously. When he started 2 games and lost 1, he's 500. Okay? And Russell Wilson was on a 5-game win streak. Now let me go back to those 5 games. Okay? Like I said, throw Green Bay out. Kansas City, we hadn't beaten them in 16 freaking games. 16 games. That's 8 seasons, guys. We hadn't beaten the Buffalo Bills on Monday night in Buffalo in like forever. The Cleveland Browns were an up-and-coming team last year. They were a solid team. And then we beat the Minnesota Vikings, who, at the time when we beat them, was on their own 5-game win streak. So you tell me, does Russell Wilson play in any of those games? He played in all 5. And the Broncos won all 5. Yes, the defense had a solid hand in it. Absolutely. But the offense did what they had to do to win. And sometimes they won it late against Cleveland, against Minnesota. And sometimes they just had their way, like with Kansas City and Buffalo. That's what I'm talking about. Actually, Buffalo came down to the end too. But that's what I'm talking about. Okay? Say what you want about Russell Wilson. Say you want the guy gone. Say you couldn't stand him this way, that way, or whatever. That doesn't matter. What does matter is if Russell Wilson wants to come back and Sean Payton is willing to give it one more shot and draft a quarterback and let him learn under the system, that's what I want as well. That's what I've been wanting. Keep Russell Wilson. You're going to pay him anyways. He knows the system. He knows the coach. He knows the playbook. Let's keep him at least for one more year and don't make another drastic mistake by letting Russell Wilson walk and pay him anyways. That's all I'm saying, guys. All right. Let me get back to what I'm saying here, okay? Let me see where I left off. I said the Steelers won't have to give up anything if they wait for Wilson to be cut. Okay, I already went down that whole pipe road there. Denver, however, will still have to pay Wilson $39 million in guaranteed money. Pittsburgh, however, would really only have to pay Wilson the minimum quarterback salary because of the guaranteed money from Denver. That's what I'm saying. If they're already paying him $39 million, well, I said 37, it's 39. They're paying him $39 million. He can sign for the quarterback minimum. And why not? I mean, he'll be double dipping and he'll still be playing and, you know, maybe living out a dream to win another Super Bowl. Obviously with another team, but, you know, I'm just saying, Pittsburgh could come out of here smelling like roses if they just let Russell Wilson be cut. That's what I don't want, because I stated just on that rant rave I just went on. I don't want Denver to let go of Russell Wilson, period. All right, let me finish up with this. We will see where all of this ends up in the next few weeks. Yeah, because Sean Payton has said in the next few weeks, the news will come out about what they're going to do with Russell Wilson. Now, because they're taking their time, that tells me one of two things. One, they're looking for a trade partner they haven't found. And two, they realize they're going to have to pay Russell Wilson the $39 million either way. I'm really thinking and believing that they're thinking about keeping him, hopefully restructuring that whole injury thing, which probably won't ever happen because I don't see Russell Wilson doing that. And then it's going to come down to, well, if he's not going to restructure that injury guaranteed money, we're going to have to cut him. Well, then, in my opinion, that's stupid. So you're going to cut a guy. And I know it comes down to money, guys. I understand that. $39 million that's guaranteed they have to pay him whether he's on the Broncos or not. And then if they do keep him, then they have to pay him an additional $37 million of guaranteed money for injury clause or injury protection or whatever they call it. So that's an excess of $70 million. 39 and 37. That's $76 million. They got to pay him. They can save that $37 million if they let him go. That's what I think is going to happen. That's not what I want to happen. I know it ain't my money, but when you're worth billions, is $37 million really all that much? Especially when you drop $100 million in renovating Vesco Field, you drop $400,000 on turf halfway through the season because you want to make it safer for the players. I get that, and I know $400,000 is nowhere near $37 million, but I'm just saying, I don't like it. All right. If Russell Wilson were to leave the Broncos. Who should Denver look to? Well, here it is. Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins is a free agent, and several teams could be in pursuit of his talent. Those teams are, here they are, Denver Broncos, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, Las Vegas Raiders, Pittsburgh Steelers, if they don't get Wilson, if Wilson's released, and Tennessee Titans. Kirk Cousins' recovery is on track, and he should land a deal even at age 35. somewhere he should end up. It is estimated in his salary projection is estimated in the mid 40 million per year. Wow. Now, in my opinion, Kirk Cousins of the teams, currently the Vikings, because they could re-sign him, but of the teams that are looking to get a quarterback, of the teams I mentioned, Denver, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee, those teams, which one really has the best chance of making the playoffs and going deep in the playoffs, right? Is it Tampa Bay? Yeah, they've got a good solid team. Tampa Bay could Tampa Bay could definitely do that. Atlanta Falcons? No, I don't see Atlanta Falcons, not at all. Las Vegas Raiders? Nope, don't see that either. Pittsburgh Steelers? Nope, they were close last year. You know, they were right there, but they didn't really make a strong push. So I say no, not really. And Tennessee Titans, yeah, Tennessee Titans, I do see that. Now, I didn't mention Denver, did I? Why? Because of this. I think Denver has a really good chance of making the playoffs with a Kirk Cousins quarterback. Why? Because he fits into the Sean Payton type of mold. He's a pocket passer. He scrambles every now and then, but he mainly throws from the pocket, and he's very accurate. And a Cortland Sutton would totally benefit from a Kirk Cousins, as well as Jerry Jeudy if we keep him. So, yes, I firmly believe that Kirk Cousins would be a solid asset to the Denver Broncos. That said, he would also be a solid asset to Tampa Bay, who has a very good chance of making the playoffs and going deep, as well as the Tennessee Titans. Pittsburgh Steelers, well, let's say Russell Wilson goes there. So that's a done deal. So they're off the board. Vegas, I don't see Kirk Cousins going to Las Vegas. I really don't. I don't see that at all. Going to Atlanta, not a freaking chance in the world. Not a chance. Unless he gets an absolutely unbelievable contract that will pay him ridiculous amount of money, then yeah, he would go to a Vegas or Atlanta. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But I don't see, in my opinion, I would love to see Kirk Cousins coming to Denver. Absolutely would love it. But at that $40+ million a year salary, no, I don't see that. He made an average of $31 million in Minnesota the last 3 seasons, or last 6 seasons they have, or 3. I don't know. Bobby, let me know if you're in the chat. Let me know how many years that Kirk Cousins has been on the Vikings. I think he was been there 6 years. I think his first contract was 3 years, and then they renewed it. Did another contract was 3 years, and the last one was an estimated in around $31 million a year for Kirk Cousins. Okay, so is 40 million plus out of reach for Kirk Cousins? Not at all. Problem is, does Denver Broncos have that type of availability to land a Kirk Cousins with that type of salary per year? I don't think so. They're already 27 over the cap, or 24 over the cap, and I just don't see any way, shape, or form that the Broncos could land a Kirk Cousins. I would love it. Maybe they can defer some money if it's available. Maybe Kirk Cousins wants to come to Denver. I really believe, though, the Minnesota Vikings are going to pony up. They're going to do whatever they can to keep a Kirk Cousins in their fold, because they don't want him going to another team and coming back and burning them. That's exactly what I said about Russell Wilson. And Kirk Cousins, yeah, I would love to see the Minnesota Vikings win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. I know, guys, I'm a Bronco fan. I get it. NFC team, favorite NFC team, Minnesota Vikings. Okay? Everybody just understand that out there. I'm a huge Bronco fan, 100% through and through, but the Vikings are very, very close. 1B. That's my NFC team. And I would love, my dream, I've mentioned this before, my dream Super Bowl should have been 1998. When the Denver Broncos played the Atlanta Falcons, it should have been the Denver Broncos and the Minnesota Vikings. That would have been my dream Super Bowl, and it still is. All right, let's go to the chat. Batting leadoff is Mohammed Badri. He said, Bill, I said, what's up, Mohammed? Nice to have you in the chat, my friend, as always. Mohammed also says, I just want a young quarterback. I'm getting into that. I'm getting into that very, very soon, Mohammed. And I got some good stuff about that too. I would like to have your opinion and see what you think about it, and others as well in the chat. Let me know what you think about it. But before we get to those topics, let me bring you, that's right, guys, the jackass of the week. All right, guys. The jackass of the week is, I'm getting so sick and tired, honestly, about bringing these type of stories and these type of topics. And people ask me quite often, why do you keep doing jackass of the week if you know these guys are never going to learn? They're never going to grow up. Because it's relevant. It's happened. It's there. And yes, it could be a very, very strong reminder to each and every one of us out there not to be this stupid. Not to be. These guys have fantastic, phenomenal resources. They got money up the wazoo. And they do stupid things. Or they don't use their head. Or they just think they're bigger and better than the law. Do you know who I am? Who cares? You broke the freaking law, dude. It doesn't, just because you're this, that, or the other, doesn't give you a free pass. Clayton Haran, what is up in the chat, dude? Says, hey, my guys. Hey. I say, Clayton, what's happening, my friend? Clayton says, and please do this, guys. I really do appreciate it. Smash that like button and share the show with each of your friends, relatives, distant relatives, ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, anybody. Just share it. I really, really do appreciate it. Clayton Huron says, been a while, been working my beep off on my house, painted the whole place and stained all the trim. Looks amazing. Sweet, dude. Sweet. Hey, you know what? You got to do what you got to do, man. You got to do what you got to do. You could always go back and watch this after it's been recorded, after it's been posted on MHRT Network or my channel, which is Bronco Breakdown on YouTube. And so you guys, you got, like I said, you got to do what you got to do. Work gets in the way of a lot of things. And that just doesn't mean the paying job work that you do. It means the work around the house or whatever you're doing. So, hey, Clayton, just really do appreciate you being in the chat as always. And, thanks again so much for your support. Clayton says, what do you think, Bill? Quarterback finally, and who? I'm going to get into that. Mohammed Badri brought up a similar question or topic. So, yes, I will get into that. I promise. Right now, we are in the jackass of the week. So let's get right to it. And here it is. Richard Sherman, former Seattle Seahawk, was arrested last Saturday in Kings County, Washington State, on driving under the influence. Come on, guys. Can't you pick up the phone and call an Uber, call a Lyft, call a taxi, call a limo? I mean, you got the money. You got a limo. Hey, if you got a limo and you got a limo driver, or you have contacts or whatever, why don't you pick up the freaking phone? Call them. Why are you doing things like this? But it gets worse. Let me continue. Sherman was arrested at 4:51 p.m. Yeah, right. 4:51 a.m. In the report, the state trooper said around 2 a.m., Sherman was seen speeding and going 79 miles an hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. Yeah, that'll get you stopped. All right. Sherman said when asked, has he been drinking? He replied, and I quote, I had 2 margaritas. Okay. 2 margaritas. This tall, or the big round one that's about this big. Doesn't say. I had 2. I had 2 drinks. I just had 2 drinks. Well, I had the big monster drink, but it's only 2. Come on, man. Use your head. All right, I continue. He refused a breathalyzer test. Okay, well, that's a hint right there that he knows he's going to blow beyond 1.8 or excuse me, 1.8, 0.08. No doubt, if you're refusing a breathalyzer, you are guilty. And I know people say, well, that doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty. Hey, you know what? I've been stopped many times. Well, I should say many times, not that much. But I've been stopped several times when I was late teens, early 20s, when I was driving. Some for speeding, some for illegal right turn, like on a red light, when the sign said no right turn, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, not one time did I ever get stopped for no reason. No reason. I never refused. A cop said, step outside. Okay, I didn't do anything wrong. If I was guilty of something, yeah, I'd be going, oh, man, this guy's doing. No. You become nervous. You become. If they says I need to look in your trunk. No, I don't think you need to. See, if you're hiding something, that's where the problem starts. And when Richard Sherman refused a breathalyzer test, that signaled to me he didn't want that done. Why? Because he knows he would blow 0.08 or higher. Let me continue. The troopers observed signs of him being under the influence. No kidding. Sherman has been arrested for DUI before in 2021 and placed under court supervision for 2 years. Oh, so we're in 2024. So let's see. The statute of limitations runs out in 2023 because he got arrested in 2021 and was under court supervision for 2 years. Okay. Well, that ran out last year, 2023. Guess what? It's a whole new year. Stupid. Why are you going down that same stupid path? Why? Haven't you learned your lesson? I mean, seriously. Use your freaking head. Now, there's times that, I go out, after work on a Saturday or something, some of the guys I work with say, hey, man, let's go in here and have a beer or something. Okay, I'll have a beer, But I don't sit there and just go crazy nuts. No, I just have one. I'm sitting there for an hour and a half, eating food, whatever, and enjoying the company with the guys I work with, have a beer and then come home. But if a cop were to pull me over, I'd tell him straight up, I had one. You want to do a breathalyzer? Fine, let's go. I have no problem with that because I know I'm not guilty of anything. You see what I'm saying, guys? It's not like you don't do what these guys are doing. You just don't. And that's what I don't understand is what these guys are doing. And they continually do it. It just doesn't make any sense, man. It just doesn't make any sense. I'll never get over the fact that so many of these jackass of the week is either domestic violence, under the influence, or some crazy thing like that. It just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind that none of these guys ever learn. Exactly. Mohammed Badri says, call a friend. Absolutely. Friend will come over and, hey, yeah, dude, man, I'd rather have you be safe than get an accident. That's another thing. It's another thing. Okay. Well, he got arrested. He could have killed somebody. Just like the guy in Vegas for the Raiders that killed that female girl. He was doing 100 something down this some road, and I forget. And it was a Raider player, and they cut him and everything because he went to jail and prison or whatever, and he killed her and her dog, and she was just coming back from walking her dog. Just very sad, very, very sad. That happens, and innocent people's lives are destroyed. They're totally destroyed. Call a friend, call a cab, call an Uber, call a bus, whatever you got to do. Don't get behind the freaking wheel, guys. How many freaking times do we have to say this? It just never ends. I don't get it. All right. Yeah, Mohammed Badri totally agrees with me. Said he's a smart guy, so I don't get it. I don't get it either. I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh, I'm okay. I can drive. Well, no, you can't. Don't be foolish. Don't be foolish. Okay. Clayton Haran says, I got it, and that was enough for me. Quit drinking. Almost been 2 years sober. Congratulations, Clayton. Congratulations. Absolutely love it. My life is truly better. Amen. Amen, Clayton. Clayton, I tip my hat to you, buddy. Tip my hat to you. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing. Glad that nothing seriously happened to you. And that your life's much better. You're doing much better. And congratulations on almost 2 years. Absolutely, congratulations. Clayton goes on, says, I had my little man to call. Oh my gosh, dude. Whoa. Ooh, that just hit home, man. That just hit home. I got a 12-year-old grandson, a 7-year-old granddaughter. And oh man. I'm gonna read it again. I had my little man in the car with me. So yeah. Wow. Clayton, you just took my breath away, dude. Totally took my breath away. I'm gonna step back a moment. Whew. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. That just gripped me because I see myself with my grandkids, and yeah, I can only imagine, Clayton, that was a absolute eye opener. All right. Okay. Congratulations once again, Clayton. Absolutely. So happy for you, man. So happy for you. All right. Clayton, before you head on, Clayton says, and that's why I quit, Bill. I absolutely totally agree, dude. Absolutely totally agree. That is amazing. That is so cool. So freaking cool. And he follows up by saying a wake-up call. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Eric Bieniemy. Now, Eric Bieniemy is going back to college. Whoa. Is he getting a degree? Oh, that'd be cool. No. That's not what's happening. Here it is. Eric Bieniemy is going back to college. Well, known for his offensive coordinator jobs with the Chiefs and the Commanders. Redskins. Commanders. Bieniemy will move back to the college ranks, joining new UCLA head coach Deshaun Foster's staff as assistant head coach and offensive coordinator. Congratulations to Eric Bieniemy. He went on to say that this is a great opportunity for him to be able to bring his skills that he's learned in the NFL to UCLA and the young head coach Foster's, and that he can teach these young kids what it takes to get in the NFL. And some of these other coaches that he'll be working with, he can show them what it takes to be in the NFL as an offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. I think it's phenomenal for Eric Bieniemy. I wish him all the best. I know he seemed to get shoved over on occasion from being a head coach in the NFL. But if this is where he's happy and he feels like he can go to back to the college ranks and nurture these young guys that are hopefully trying to make their name known in the NFL, then that's great. That's a great calling that he has. He can use his knowledge that he got from Kansas City Chiefs. He can also get his knowledge that he got from the Washington Redskins. Commanders when he was there. So that's a very, very good way to look at it. I know he probably would love to be a head coach in the NFL, and maybe that will come down the pipe in some way, shape, or form down the road. That is meant to be seen. But right now, Eric Bieniemy is extremely excited, extremely happy to be on the UCLA college staff and looking forward to this year and years beyond. Congratulations to Eric Bieniemy. I wish him all the best. And, I just know that wherever you go in life, whether you go and follow your dreams and then those dreams are not really realized to its full potential, and you go back into something different or move something forward and you're happy there, that's all that matters. You've got to be happy where you're working. You gotta feel wanted and needed. And Eric Bieniemy apparently does feel that with the UCLA Bruins. All right. Last two topics. This goes back to Mohamed Badri asking about draft picks or quarterbacks, or if the Broncos are going to get one, as well as I believe Clayton Huron mentioned the same thing in regards to quarterbacks. So here it comes, guys. Here it is. Michael Penix. Now, Washington quarterback Michael Penix said about his meeting with the Broncos, he said it went good. Not great, not fantastic, not horrible, but good. Listen to this. I like this. I like this coming from Sean Payton. I really do. Listen to this. He said, Michael Penix said, and I quote, "It was different than other meetings with other clubs because the Broncos and Sean Payton showed me a lot of my bad plays and asked me to talk about it." End quote. Wow. Wow. I like that. And I'll tell you why I like that. Because Sean Payton says, hey, if you got, let's just say, I don't know what the plays were, but I'm just going to throw something out. Let's just say that Michael Penix rolled out to his right, saw a wide open receiver by 3 or 4 steps and didn't throw him the ball and took a sack, or he overthrew the guy, or he missed he went back to handoff and he went to his left when the running backs go direct. I don't know what they are. I'm just saying there were bad plays. Does that mean passing game, running game, not reading the defenses, audibling into a bad play that benefits the defense? I don't know what the plays were. Doesn't matter. I'm not the head coach. Well, what I liked is the fact that the Broncos showed Michael Penix about his bad plays and then asked him to talk about it. Explain it. Explain what happened. Hey, if you're going to be a potential draft pick by the Denver Broncos, they need to know everything about you. When you go into an interview, now basically that's what these meetings are. This is basically an interview to see if they want to draft you. Well, it's like going to a job. Excuse me. You go to a job and they sit you down and they ask you these questions and they say, hey, what are your strong suits? Point your strong. What are your weaknesses? Most people don't want to talk about their weaknesses because it hurts. It's not beneficial. Well, it's not positive, put it that way. It can be beneficial if you learn from them, but it's not positive. They're negative. They're things you didn't do well. And if Sean Payton is willing to go front and center with Michael Penix and say, hey, here's some of your plays that you did. Explain what happened. Talk about it. Tell us what happened. Okay. And Michael Penix says, well, it went good. Well, I'll tell you what. You need to come front and center with your what's what I'm looking for? With your inabilities or your inconsistencies or your whatever other word I'm looking for. You have to deal with it. Everybody has deficiencies. I do. I can't do a lot of things before, or a lot of things that I could do before. So I'm getting older, guys. I can't do what I used to do. A lot of the things I can't. And when I was able to do those things, a lot of times I made mistakes. We all do. You got to own up to it. You got to get yourself better. When somebody asks you a direct question and shows you in video point blank of what you're not doing correctly, you got to own up to it. Michael Penix, in my opinion, is probably not high on the Broncos' radar. But somebody here is. And this is the last topic of the show tonight, guys. And once again, thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching the show. I really do appreciate each and every Friday. Thank you to Muhammad and for Clayton for being in the chat. As always, really do appreciate you guys very, very much. You mean the world to me when I come on here. Really do appreciate it. All right. Here is a positive. We talked about Michael Penix. Here's the flip side to who Michael Penix. This isn't Michael Penix, but this is a flip side of what Michael Penix wasn't. Here it is. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy of Michigan Wolverines, per Zach Stevens of DNVR, said JJ McCarthy has glowing reviews about the meeting with the Denver Broncos. He said he loves Denver, the team, and the talent that is on this team. Is McCarthy saying all the right things? Of course he is. Of course he is. But I feel it's coming from the heart. Why? Because it's involuntarily. He came out and said that. He absolutely came out and said glowing reviews. Glowing reviews. Michael Penix, not so much. Not so much. Okay, let me continue. But if Sean Payton and George Payton are in the position to draft McCarthy, it could be a match made a mile high. Absolutely. I love JJ McCarthy. And I know a lot of people say, well, you know, those ones who win the Heisman Trophy or the ones that win the national championship, they don't really pan out in the NFL because it's a whole different type of game. Well, Sean Payton is a different type of coach. And if JJ McCarthy is on the board when the Denver Broncos are going to select at 12, or if they move up, do they take JJ McCarthy? I say, why not? I love this kid. Love this kid. I think the guy has talent. Absolutely has talent. And I think under Sean Payton, and if Russell Wilson stays in Denver, he can learn under Russell Wilson. Like I've said many times, guys, not the way Russell Wilson does things, but the way the Broncos do things. And the way Russell Wilson, gets the play call in or whatever situation, whatever they need to learn, have him learn under a seasoned quarterback, not under a Jared Stidham. No, I don't want that, because Jared Stidham is not a seasoned starting quality quarterback. Russell Wilson is. Say what you want about Russell Wilson. I could care less. What I'm trying to get across, guys, is if you're going to bring in a draft choice or draft pick quarterback, raw quarterback coming in the NFL, you have to have a leader like a Russell Wilson, somebody who could take JJ McCarthy under his wing, somebody who can teach him the ropes, somebody who can show him what needs to be done as far as game ready, mindset, preparation, training, workouts, exercise, all that kind of stuff. Russell Wilson is that guy. If Russell Wilson is removed, then Stidham becomes that guy. And to me, that is not beneficial to any rookie quarterback, JJ McCarthy included, especially McCarthy, who is an absolutely fantastic college quarterback. Do I want Broncos to get McCarthy? Absolutely. That's the one. That's the person I've been wanting. I've been wanting since day one. Since day one, when I knew he was coming out, that's who I wanted. I also kind of leaned towards who's that one up in I was leaning towards Penix, but he's got issues. And now after this, I don't want the guy. I want JJ McCarthy. Is he going to be there at number 12? I don't know. That scares me to death, because if he's not, then we're probably not going to draft a quarterback in the first round, and we'll drop down to second or third or whatever. And now you're just taking your chances. I think JJ McCarthy would be a perfect answer to the Broncos' future. Absolutely, firmly believe that. Because under a Sean Payton-led offense or team as head coach, I think McCarthy would absolutely benefit. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right. Clayton Aron says, great way to top off a Friday night. Let's go. Absolutely. Clayton, thank you so much, man. I'll tell you what, dude, you give me that adrenaline, you and I'm sorry, Muhammad Badri and others that are that have been in the chat. You give me a shot of adrenaline, but some of the comments that you make, Clayton, just love it, dude. Love it. Just thank you for that motivation, that spark, that backbone, that encouragement. Really, really do appreciate, Clayton, very, very much. Clayton Huron says he also wants JJ McCarthy. Absolutely. Like I said, I think the guy's brilliant. He's talented. He's accurate. He's a national champion. They beat my Washington Huskies at the time I wanted Washington to win, but hindsight being 2020, JJ McCarthy is the real deal. So I definitely want him wearing orange and blue starting in 2024 season. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't know, but I really, really hope. I really, really hope that happens. Very much so. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. I'd be so giddy, man. I'd come on the show that next Friday and I'd be like, yeah. I mean, I'd be going crazy. The 65-year-old body would go back to being 25-year-old. Absolutely. I get that way when the Broncos won the Super Bowl. I'm jumping up and down when the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup in 2022. Jumped up and well, the other ones too, but I'm just talking most recent. I jump up and down, go crazy. And when the Chicago Cubs broke their 108-year drought and won the World Series in 2016, oh my gosh, guys, I cried. I realized I was able to see history in the making. I mean, history, 108 years of fruition, 108 years of not making it back to the World Series, let alone winning it. And they won it in 2016 in 7 games against the Cleveland Indians. I know they're the freaking Guardians now, but they're still Indians. Indians not a bad word, okay? It's not. So that was a phenomenal year, incredible year. And just like when the Avalanche won it in 2022, and they won it against the Lightning, who everybody thought was going to beat the Avalanche. It didn't happen. I get giddy, guys. I get giddy. If we draft J.J. McCarthy, you're going to see that same giddiness on that next Friday show. I absolutely, positively guarantee it. No doubt about it. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. It costs you nothing. It helps the channel out dearly, helps my show out tremendously. Guys, hit the thumbs up. That costs you nothing as well. It's free and easy. It just lets everybody know that you like the show, you like the content, you like the format, and you are willing to share your thumbs up to everybody else that comes across this show and says, hey, you know what? There's a lot of thumbs up. I think I'll go watch it and see what it's all about. Thanks a lot, guys. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. Mohammed Badri for being in the chat, batting leadoff. Clayton Huron for following up. Really do appreciate both of you guys being in the chat. I know it's a Friday. I know it's the 1st of March. And there's a lot of things going on. Spring is around the corner. You guys giving up your time to watch this show each and every Friday live, 5, 6, 7, and 8, wherever you may be, guys. I really greatly appreciate it. For those of you who are you can't watch it live, you can always watch it when it's posted right after the show. It's posted on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, as well as my channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. Thank you guys so much each and every week for being here. You are the best. You are the backbone of this Broncos Breakdown show, and I owe you guys tremendously. Thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We will talk to you next Friday. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flame out. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle.